Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Presidential campaigns in Kenya is the most expensive in Africa. That's perhaps third most expensive after Nigeria and South Africa. And so it's one that, according to estimation of 2017, that both NASA and Jubilee combined could run to the tune of 15 billion. But now the last stretch, because we're almost 22 days to the general election, is very important to the successful presidential bid. And details of Raila Odinga's party, fundraiser party that was organized in Safari Park, opens a Pandora of thoughts on why exactly Raila is getting that support, or why exactly the Mount Kenya billionaires are feeling that it's Raila moment. It is very phenomenal, and I think even for political perception, that for the first time Raila Odinga is getting that support. However, I also want to repeat that Raila's network in this country cuts across the tribes and cuts across the borders. When Raila Odinga was the Prime Minister in the Grand Coalition government, he appointed Isaac Mwaura. Isaac Mwaura was from Gema. He also worked with Nyeri Town MP Ngunjiri Wambugu, who was in the office of the Prime Minister and did some program under there. And there are many of people from Gema that worked with Raila Odinga. Despite the fact that the 2007 contested election was really setting him against Mwai Kibaki, but he is a one man that has maintained his kernel of network across the country. And now I want us to look at it critically. What exactly played out? Because what exactly happened? Because I followed some article from Daily Nation. They had a target, and Makau Mutua actually said that they exceeded even the target. Of course, when you organize a fundraiser, don't tell them how much exactly you want or what each and every guest is supposed to bring. In 2017, such a fundraiser was done, and I remember within 2 hours they had raised 1 billion for President Uhuru Kenyatta. So remember, in 2017, the president was enjoying incumbency with all the state resources and the resources that they had also collected or maybe consolidated in their first term, but they still decided to do that fundraiser. So there is something very critical that Kenyans need to look, that some of these events are not normally done exclusively for the fundraising. And there is a lot of it, and there are a lot of pointers that we can pick from these forums. And in this analysis, we are going to delve deep on what exactly would the Kenyan voter, or what should the Kenyan voter see from that. One plate was actually going at 1 million. So 10 people will pay 10 million. And according to Nderitu Muredi, they were expecting 500 guests, and they got 500 guests. So if you ask me whether it got to the tune of 1 billion or not, maybe in the fullness of time, Kenyans will have an understanding what exactly happened and whether they reached the target. But if you ask me, 500 people and one person, one plate is supposed to go to 10 billion. It's to 1 billion. And so 10 billion mbele, 5 billion katikati, then that. So it was a bit of the ones that had paid more, the ones that had the gold ticket were the ones that were next to Raila Odinga. Then bronze was 10. Bronze, I think, was group that were paying 5 million. Then there was also silver that was paying 2 million. So 2 million unakaa huko nyuma kidogo. Because there are also corporate packages and individual packages, and there are also those ones for the aspirants. So one thing I saw, that it was a very critical moment, and I will explain to you people why exactly that forum was done. Now, the Star had already published it, and it had a lot of flowery and glamorous description on how exactly it was going to be done and what it brings to a table. Now, people might ask, really, when it comes to election campaigns, it's very expensive. The advertising in the televisions are paid for. The merchandise, remember, each and every rally will see people with their Azimio la Umoja capes and the banners that they are carrying, and they're in tunes. Very expensive. There are also some areas where they might also be forced to fund some candidates. The logistics, oh my goodness, logistics, fueling the choppers is very costly. Even fueling and hiring, sometimes, like now, different campaign teams are going to be centralized for the sake of political messaging. They will not want to send mixed signals, because sometimes when Joe is campaigning somewhere, the other person is campaigning somewhere, the risk is there seems to be information sometimes is disorganized, and also it disorients media coverage, because then media is divided. Do we cover Raila? Do we cover Raila-Karua? Do we cover Joho? Do we cover Oparanya? So, but in this phase of the campaigns, it's normally an opportunity to see the campaign teams harmonized, centralized, and then people move in one direction. What that means is logistics will be logistics will be needed quite many often. Why do you think that session was organized? Just forget, I don't want to say forget, but apart from the money collection, why do you think that Nini was organized? Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. And through that, you can also comment here and give us an explainer. What do you think is the real intention of that, apart from the money? Where do you think that Raila is getting all that support? You think, of course, this is at the expense what Raila is getting in comparison to William Ruto, because Ruto also was standing such an opportunity if he were to stick with President Uhuru Kenyatta. So some of the people that have always believed that Raila Odinga did not need the endorsement of President Uhuru Kenyatta, honestly, were getting it wrong, because the president was coming as a package. The Mount Kenya team, the business billionaires, would not come were it not for the presence of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And from where I'm seated, there is something I see, that this session was also technically organized to bring together the business community on the side of Raila Odinga and also on the side of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And this is what is it, because these are two institutions. This is Kenyatta family and Odinga family. This is Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. On the other side, the president is the face of all that. On the other side, there is also Raila Odinga. So Raila is also, that session was also organized to bring those two special groups together. But now, why Raila Odinga? Now, during that session, there was a question and answer session where actually it ended around 1 p.m. And part of what was being discussed there is on fight against corruption and President Raila Odinga's plan for the stability of the country. So one thing, the other reason why this session is not very important is accessibility to the presidency. People want to get close to you, so that, you know, when you become the president, of course, you are the CEO of the whole country and everyone is looking at you. But at one point, I think that is the moment where someone gets personal with Raila Odinga. Now, this is a moment where maybe someone is donating 2 million or 1 million. For the first time, these are people that perhaps have not interacted with Raila at personal level. There is a bit of that distance, and it just tries to build a rapport between the presidential candidate and the business community around. By the whole country, the issues about the economy, the shapers are the business community. So I see that as one of the reasons why they opted for Raila. And accessibility is important because I want to say that for Deputy President William Ruto, even after falling out with President Uhuru Kenyatta, he will be cunning enough. If I was someone who was advising him, and that's why we keep on insisting that he did not get good advisors but went for cheerleaders, people who will sing yes all the time, he will at least go back behind president and win some few business moguls around the president. With that, actually it would have toned down and some friendly manner, but also huyo alojipanga. It's called the plan. So he really organized himself, and his budget is something that maybe will be one day be discussed after this election. Raila brings the stability of the country, and I see an interest in the Western market exploit. Raila carries himself the Western market exploit and the Western market. And you remember in 2017 when he mentioned about boycotting some products, you will see Nyanza and Western were fully behind. And some of the areas that tilting effect, the market tilting effect was felt, was the one Nyanza and the Western. So I also see that the business, I think in terms of the business fragmentation, in terms of the market fragmentation, the other areas have been fully captured, but I think the Western belt have not been exploited. And that is why you see even President Uhuru Kenyatta in this second term really had very good exploits in Nyanza and rather in Kisumu and the western areas, because there was a bit of that stability. So I see people are seeing Raila as a very safe pair, and that presidency would be very effective in exploiting the western market. And that's why I normally insist that that western belt is very strategic as far as the presidency is concerned. Now, there is something that Raila brings, and this is what negates William Ruto. Deep international interest in the business that will want to exploit on the Kenyan market. Now, let me say here that the interest on Raila Odinga's presidency is a mixture of many things. And to the Mount Kenya community, Deputy President made a blunder, because for him, he made more of international exploits and international markets, and these fellas are seen to be people that will be angling for the Kenyan market. I'm not saying that Raila Odinga's foreign policy should be against foreign investment in the country, but of course there should be a balance and open bias in that. Remember when there was this story about William Ruto with another tycoon from Turkey. What was created out of that story was that William Ruto was angling for maybe foreign investors that would really get in touch with that. Now, I think Raila Odinga has done something. He has portrayed himself as a man that is not so much pursuing those business interests. But because President Uhuru Kenyatta have worked with William Ruto, I want to believe that maybe there are a lot of intel that the president shared with this team on why they should not go the Ruto way. So that made Raila Odinga be the safest way. Now, lastly, there is a seize. This business community, they want to seize the presidential power shakers and movers. What am I saying? In 2013 and 2017, in 2013, Jimmy Wanjigi explains and reveals that he's the person that made Uhuru Ruto. That was a power shaker and mover. So the person behind that was Uhuru and was Jimmy Wanjigi. Now in 2017, there were two power shakers and movers. There's those who maybe was behind Uhuru and Raila, Uhuru and Ruto won before the election, and then there was also a power shaker and mover of the handshake. The people that crafted the handshake. And for me, what the Raila support that is getting now, that started building back from the handshake. And the handshake team actually seized. I want to believe that the people that crafted handshake seized power from the power shakers and movers who crafted the initial Uhuru Ruto before the 2017 general election. That's my deep insight into this, and you can also tell us what you think.